Hello, everybody. My name is Ray. Welcome to the Evangelical Dark Web. Today, we're going to be talking about the Nashville Manifesto being released in part. Images of the Nashville shooter's manifesto. The Nashville shooter, Audrey Hale, was a transvestite who shot up Covenant School, which is a Christian private school in the Nashville area. And this is a heinous event, but it is a unique event in that this is like the one shooter's manifesto that was suppressed. And it's a very noteworthy thing for a manifesto to be suppressed, especially as, generally speaking, these things are made public, but there is a concerted effort to suppress this manifesto in particular. And what we're going to touch on, we're going to talk about the manifesto in brief, but we're going to focus more on what the specialty of Evangelical Dark Web is, and that's talking about the evangelical elites, mainly Brent Leatherwood of the ERLC of the Southern Baptist Convention, the largest Protestant denomination, is the main force in trying to suppress this manifesto from the public. So the largest Protestant denomination is being used to suppress this information, which should go public. And a handful of people can talk competently about this, and I'm one of them. And that's what we're going to get into on this video. So we're going to get into that story, but first I want to let you know Evangelical Dark Web is a Christian news gathering and commentary ministry. You can support us over at evangelicaldarkweb.org/join. Like I said, we're one of the few ministries that can talk competently about the Brent Leatherwood angle of this story, because Brent Leatherwood is the point man for trying to suppress this manifesto that we're about to talk about. You can also subscribe to our free newsletter. There are more articles than videos and podcast, but the least you can do is like this video, subscribe to the channel, to the podcast if you are new. So with that said, let's dive into the article that I have of the leaked manifesto. And here's what it says. After several months following the Covenant School shooting, in which a transvestite woman, Audrey Hale, murdered 6 people at a Christian private school before being put down by law enforcement, the public debate surrounding transgenderism has largely been seen as the reason why the manifesto of the shooter has not been made public. Steven Crowder obtained exclusive leaked pictures of part of the manifesto. They include handwritten journal entries and allude to a 10-minute video version of the manifesto that has not been leaked. So let's do a quick high-level overview of the manifesto parts. You can read it for yourself on evangelicaldarkweb.org. Death Day is the title of this one, and you're going to see some pop culture imagery, and that is the umbrella logo, which is the evil corporation from the Resident Evil games. Interesting that the Nashville shooter would identify with the evil corporation. So, but they are kind of a science experiment, and umbrella is big pharma, so maybe it's not that weird or ironic. So I'm a little nervous but excited too. Been excited for the past 2 weeks. And then there's an allusion to almost getting caught in 2021, which just kind of showcases how much of a radar this person was on. And you'll notice that this person that Audrey Hale signs the journal entries as Audrey and Aiden sometimes. This is written in a composition journal type of thing. This and the other 2 images are written in a spiral. So there's multiple journals. There's an allusion to a video that's about 10 minutes. Interesting enough, so one of the biggest standouts in this manifesto is the anti-white sentiment. You see the line, "Kill those kids, those crackers going to private fancy schools with those fancy khakis and sports backpacks." So there's a lot of reference to white culture and white stereotypes, and ironically, someone who's a troon uses a word I would use for homosexuals. So I just think that part's pretty ironic. Um, and then we have an itinerary of Death Day, which I guess is their version of D-Day. It includes stuffed animals, eating breakfast, planning lunch potentially. And this is where the allusion to the 10-minute video is. But you see that there's a lot of thought that went into this, and Covenant School is mentioned as the premeditated target, and there's a lot of effort that went into that. So, Brent Leatherwood's involvement, I did report on it with my initial article on the Nashville Manifesto. He was quoted in the New York Times as trying to suppress the manifesto from public release. And Brent Leatherwood is the president of the Ethics and Religious Liberty Commission of the Southern Baptist Convention, which is a lobbying arm. They are the political arm of the Southern Baptist Convention. And he was quoted back in June by the New York Times as trying to suppress the manifesto. So now we fast forward and we see a press conference that he did yesterday. And that was in which, again, the liberal media is trying to paint him as the representative of the parents of Covenant School. So the partial leak of the Nashville Manifesto was welcomed by many Christians. It was a media victory against the Ethics and Religious Liberty Commission of the Southern Baptist Convention, whose president is leading an effort to conceal the manifesto from public release. So this is a big victory that was scored against them, and Brent Leatherwood is not happy about it. He did a live stream press conference that was aired by Fox 17 Nashville. Let's roll tape of this first clip. I got 3 clips of this I want to show you. Here's clip number 1.
Parents and families came together to prevent this exact moment from happening, to prevent the re-victimizing of our children and prevent further trauma to our families. Because we knew that these writings, these thoughts from the shooter were heinous. We knew that they were evil. Just today, I've received numerous phone calls from fellow parents, upset and afraid to even look online at the images that are going all across social media. The damage done today is already significant, and I'm worried it's only going to grow. With the release of images of these disgusting writings, what have we learned? Have we learned anything new? Have we learned anything we didn't already know? Did we not already know that this was a deeply disturbed individual who was detached from reality? What more evidence was needed? She shot her way into a school and killed 6 defenseless lives. We already knew that she was deeply and emotionally distressed and in need of help. That's not been added to by these images that we've seen today.
So you're going to want to notice how he talks about Audrey Hale versus how he talks about the other people involved in this story, which by extension would include Evangelical Dark Web, because we are one of the outlets that promoted the leaked images of the manifesto. We promoted it. We wanted this. And of course we reported on it. So what he's going to say next will coincide with that. But I do want to circle back to, this is a very performative press conference. And it shows it's only going to get worse. There's a lot of dramatic pauses. There's a head shaking, and it's very effeminate behavior coming from Brent Leatherwood, which is not surprising. And the idea that we already knew what was in there. Well, we didn't know how anti-white they were, which is pretty interesting considering how anti-white the Southern Baptist Convention has been the last few years. So it's interesting that Brent Leatherwood and J.D. Greear and all these other people have been echoing the same sentiments that are found in the Nashville Manifesto. So that's pretty interesting. So here's the second tape where he takes a shot at Steven Crowder.
So now, a community, a school, families who have already suffered so much, we're left yet again to deal with this terror. And so a couple of very specific points. To the online shock jock who aired these images, I would challenge him and anyone who amplifies them online. Just be a human for once.
Brent Leatherwood denounces Steven Crowder and all those who would report on the Nashville Manifesto and amplify it as subhuman. Those are some very harsh words. Those are harsher words than what he expressed towards Audrey Hale, the person who murdered 6 people. And now, perhaps his harshest words are reserved for the leaker, who I would say is acting heroically to leak this imagery to the media and trying to get it out there. I think that's more heroic, but Brent Leatherwood has some very harsh words for this individual.
And lastly, I want to speak directly to the person who took these images and released them. You are a viper. You're a member of the law enforcement community. And you have released evidence that was gathered in our most vulnerable moment. You have now allowed this woman who terrorized our family with bullets to be able to now terrorize us with words from the grave. How could you? What kind of a person does this? I've had a number of conversations today with Metro Police, the TBI, others. Metro has assured me that this is a felony. That the person who did this would be brought to justice, it would be arrested, and that absolutely has to happen.
I'm going to read what I wrote in my article. Audrey Hale comparably gets off easy in this press conference. Brent Leatherwood, despite believing that women who take abortion pills to kill their babies are victims, believes that the leaker is a felon who needs to be brought to justice and repent of their evil ways. The rest of the conference after this, Brent Leatherwood goes on a gospel plea to the leaker, begging them to turn themselves in and repent and believe, even though what they did was not wrong. The public deserves to know this information, and he is in the wrong for trying to suppress this information. And let's be real, the reason why he's suppressing this information is because he is soft on the issue of homosexuality and transgenderism. Let's be honest about that. And the fact that the manifesto is, very anti-white is just an unexpected bonus for him to want to conceal it. So back to the article. It's worth noting that 2 other ERLC staffers appear to be at the press conference. Elizabeth Bristow and Alex Ward, showcasing how Brent Leatherwood is using cooperative program funds for his personal endeavor. This performative press conference live stream was ratioed, and the public embarrassment could be impactful and at the 2024 annual Southern Baptist Convention. So that's where I end the article. But before we get off on this video, I do want to say Brent Leatherwood should be fired for this. This is bad witness. He is going outside the missional scope of the ERLC, and he is using company resources for his personal vendetta. He is using cooperative program funds for his pro bono. And that is wrong. That is wrong. So, and we don't even know how many funds are being used for this. It's not just a press conference. Is he also covering the legal expenses in order to suppress the manifesto from public release, which in turn, this would be a nice way to fight transgenderism in our culture, but Brent Leatherwood isn't about that. He's not about that. He's not taking a strong stance on this issue, but he wants to take credit when, Tennessee acts on this issue, even though Matt Walsh did much more of the work. But anyway, that's another topic for another day. I'm trying to lead the call on social media to get Brent Leatherwood fired. He should be fired for this. Anyway, have a blessed day. We will catch you on the next one.